I get this question all the time. How do I overcome my cravings? I am eating cookies, Spencer. Can you help me stop? I'm going to give you my best possible answer in this episode.
This is the game of food. This is the game of food. We're helping real people get real results with delicious food. Real food. Live from Spencer's home studio, podcasting to the world. This is Game of Food. And here's your host, Spencer Frederick.
So I think this is something that people want to overcome is their cravings. They're doing really well. They get this craving and they screw it up by eating their favorite little brownie delight. Or they every single weekend after having a great Monday through Friday, they screw up their nutrition by trusting their cravings and screwing up on the weekend. And so I think this is something that a lot of people want to overcome. How do I know this? A lot of people ask me, how do you overcome this? And really, it's way more simple than you think. Because when you are giving into your cravings, just know that there is a voice in your mind that does not want to give up on some of these foods that you are eating. Some of these cravings that you are listening to, there is a voice in your head that doesn't want to lose it. So that's what makes it complex. That's the only thing that makes it complex is your own mind. Your mind having this battle of like, will I or won't I have this cookie? And that's the only thing that makes it complex, because think about it. The journey from the table to your mouth, requires your hands to put it there. Okay. And so it's just a decision, but I want to give you some tactics, and that's what I have here in front of me. I have some notes on how I help my clients and how I want to help you guys overcome your cravings. And so the initial tactics I have here, which some of you have probably heard of before, and then I'm going to cover some that maybe you haven't heard of before. But first, let's talk about some little ones. So like after a meal, what you can do is brush your teeth. So like commonly it's people after work, after school, late at night, late afternoon is when they do the snacking, extra bites, or after the meal, they crave something sweet. And so a trick you can do is brush your teeth. And there's a percentage of people that after they brush their teeth, they're just done. They will not screw up their new clean teeth and fresh breath, so they just won't eat. So that's kind of a trick. Also, what you can do is like after each meal, you can have a big glass of water, and then you have that bloated feeling, you have that full feeling, and then you notice that your cravings subside. You can also go for a walk. So that's just to kind of remove yourself from the eating environment, because sometimes when people start chewing, they want to continue chewing on things. And so getting outside, taking a walk, getting on a treadmill, and taking a walk, getting your mind off of food is actually helpful. And actually, it takes 20 minutes for your brain to receive the signal that your stomach is full, that you are satisfied, that you had a big enough meal. And then also what I have listed here is you need to get busy. So if you have some cravings, clean the house, mow the lawn, vacuum, do your laundry, work on the emails, get your mind on other things is actually a good place to start. And so those are some of the smaller like tactical things that you can do to quick get your mind on something else. But some of the things you might not have heard before is we are creatures of habit. We follow patterns and we follow the same cycle. So if you're crushing beers every Friday night, let me tell you, Friday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon after work, you are going to crave beers, not just because you're craving it, it's just your pattern. And it's like, why do people end up sitting in the same exact spot on the same exact day in the same exact bar? Well, they weren't craving drinks. It's just a part of their routine. It's what they did last Friday and Saturday, and so they're doing it again. So understand that, like, if you binged last Saturday, you are more likely to binge this Saturday on food, on your treats. If you had ice cream Sunday night, you are more likely to have ice cream this coming Sunday night. We are creatures of habit. We follow what we did yesterday. We follow what we did last week. So obviously you have to break that pattern, because when you have a successful Saturday, for instance, you are now more likely to have another successful Saturday. You are building momentum. A lot of humans are streaky. I know you guys have heard this before, but building up momentum is breaking that pattern. You break that pattern, it is tough at first. It is. Your very first on-track Saturday is tough, but then each Saturday after that is a little bit easier. And so you have to break that pattern. Sometimes you were just having these cravings because, hey, you did this last Saturday night. Okay, the next one I have here is a fairly recent seminar that I watched on YouTube, I think. I wish I could give you the resources, but basically they said cravings are fake. And so a lot of people think, and why they had that very blunt title to their seminar was a lot of people are like, I was craving this, so I ate it. What do you want me to do? No, you have control. It is fake. And it's commonly a food that you're thinking of. So we don't usually crave something we recently have. So you're thinking of a food that has been, it's been several weeks. It's been several months, like, ooh, I could really go for that. And usually it's something you haven't had in a while. And then all of a sudden you call it a craving. You react to it. You go buy that food and then you eat it. And that's you listening to the craving, but you do have control. Cravings are fake. Really, they are commonly a response to a stressor or an emotion. Sometimes it can be an exciting emotion, just with a major holiday coming up. Sometimes you eat crappy all week long. Why? The event is not until Saturday, but Wednesday through Friday you ate like crap. It's called pre-gaming. And so know that even though negative emotions obviously create eating, high emotions, excitement for a big event can too. And so that's what you need to realize is when you have these emotions or these stressors, like your boss yelled at you at work, your kids are going insane, you worked an 11-hour day and then you had to run kids around to softball and baseball, just know that you learned that in those stressful times or high emotions to rely on food. It is a learned response. Because if you change that, yes, it won't be easy, but if you change that, you can rely on other things to relieve your stress. It is learned. And so commonly what men do, I'm going to talk about commonly what men do and what commonly women do. Commonly, men work really hard at their job. I can only speak for my clients, but it seems like my men work longer hours and sometimes physical jobs too. And so what they want when they get home is a big hot meal and alcohol. That's not everybody I know, but that is a little bit more common. And that is actually a response to a stressor. So you worked hard all day, like your body is borderline stressed. You worked hard and long and maybe even didn't get to eat all your meals. And so you get home and you just want to relax. You want to de-stress in a big hot meal and multiple beers or alcohol drinks helps relieve that stress temporarily. And so that's a bad habit to have if you're working on your health. Now, as far as women, one that I see is the menstrual cycle, and commonly they act like they have no control at that time. Now, I know it's not easy. None of this is easy, whether it's guys or gals, but it's a response. So your hormones once a month do go crazy. You do experience pain, and that's another stressor. Your sleep isn't as good. That's another stressor. And so that is one big stressor, and you have learned to rely on chocolate, so to speak. It's not that your monthly cycle produces some sort of magical chocolate craving. No, it's not that. It's you learned that you deal with that stressor by eating some of your treats. Okay, and you just need to have a different response. Especially if you want to achieve something with your health and body, you have to learn something different. And then the last one I wanted to talk about is your environment. You know, you are going to have more cravings for alcohol if you're sitting in a bar. You are going to have cravings for pizza if your spouse or your family orders in pizza when you're trying to follow a strict plan. You know where I'm going with this. You're going to have cravings for cupcakes if you are the one baking the cupcakes. You know what I mean? It's your environment sometimes too. And you have to, one, be aware of it. You can say no to these things still, but you have to be aware of it that if you're in this environment that produces, not good health, not good results, that you have to change something. You don't have to delete people from your life, but in some way you have to get out of that environment to get some good results, to achieve what you want to achieve. Okay, and so just to review, there are some different things that you can do for cravings, like brushing your teeth, drinking water, whatever. Know that you have to break the pattern. If you did crappy on nutrition last weekend, it might happen again this weekend, unless you're tough and break the pattern. Cravings are fake. They are a response to a stressor or emotion that you learned over several years. And then sometimes you have to get out of your current environment. You can't dangle a monster cookie in front of me all day. Eventually I'm going to eat it. Monster cookies are one of my favorites. And know that this takes time. You know what I mean? Like, if you have been eating a certain way, or you've been listening to your cravings for the last 11 years, you're not going to like conquer this overnight. It's not going to be the first couple of weeks and like, you know what? Spencer was right. I conquered all my cravings. No, it's probably going to take months. And then you're going to slip up. You know what I mean? You're going to be like, hey, cool, I conquered my cravings. And then you give in one day for whatever reason. And then you just got to get back on track, and then you got to fight your cravings again and have some different responses to your stressors. And it takes time. It takes practice. You know, it seems like for kids, you know, when they're learning to walk, we're all patient. Like, oh, they'll get it. They just have to keep trying. You know, if they fall, just pick them up and try again. If your kid is learning how to ride a bike, it's the same way. But then when we spend 11 years eating a certain way, and not following a nutrition plan, then it's like, well, I should be able to get this and master this overnight. No. And so I think if you follow my list today and you give it time and you're patient with it and realize you're human and you'll make mistakes and you just have to get back on it, eventually you'll get there. There are people that go from responding to all their cravings, like, I want this now, I will go eat it or drink it. There are some people that conquer that and they get to the other side, so to speak, and they are much more in control. And it's not like forcing it, you know what I mean? It's not like they're white knuckling it every single day, like, I just have to not eat cookies, you know what I mean? Eventually they get to a point where they're just not thinking of it. That's what everybody wants to get to, is like, what if you are just that person that doesn't think of cookies that often? That's the magic. That's the magic you get to if you put in the work and you're patient. So master your cravings. They are not in control. You can do this. Spencer, signing off.